We are going to see the ecosystem change. That is, the change in the ecosystem is a major factor in the climate change. An ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscapes, work together to form a bubble of life. Which means, whereas a bubble forms surrounding, uh, within it, the organisms and everything is to be presented. Example of ecosystems are agroecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, coral reef, desert, forest, human ecosystem, then littoral zone, marine ecosystem. And also the ecosystem services denotes the economically valuable services generated by natural ecosystem as byproducts of the normal functioning. The notion centers on natural ecosystem capacity to process matter, their ability to alter the physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of the material that passes through them. The natural change in ecosystem. Natural selection. Species change to the environment. Adaptive radiation. New species arise. Ecological succession. Change in the types of organisms that live in the environment. So what is ecological succession? Changes that takes place over a period of time in the type of organism that live in the area. So that may be of primary succession and the secondary succession. Yes. Primary section occurs where no soil exists. So, in which here a diagrammatic representation, that is, the first one is the pioneer species. The next stage is intermediate species, and finally the climax community. So this a schematic diagram representation of the primary succession. So these all occurs where no soil exists in that way. Secondary succession occurs as a result of disturbance to the existing soil. That is here the pioneer species. So this one is due to fire and annual plants, grasses, and perennials. Then intermediate species where occurs so pioneer species occurs 1 to 2 years, and here it is 3 to 4 years of grasses and perennials. The intermediate species gases, scrubs, pines, young oak, and hickory. It may be forms during 5 to 150 years. Then climax community or nature mature oak and hickory forest. It is more than 150 years. So natural events that affects ecosystem. So the first one is flooding, drought, tsunami, forest fires, and insect infestation. Whereas what are the man-made events that affects the ecosystem? Overpopulation, pollution, burning of fossil fuel, then deforestation, soil erosion, and finally hunting. So this is a photo view of flooding occurs in a major city, this kind of floods is affected in the all kind of ecosystem where exist on this city. So if there is tsunami, also the ecosystem and that biodiversity is happen. Classmate stories. So in this drought region, the ecosystem is severely being affected, and forest fire also affecting the ecosystem, and where the organisms or living things which would be lived in this ecosystem, everything was affected. Then insects infestation, air pollution, then hunting of species, and finally the plastic and waste. So the plastic and waste also affecting this kind of ecosystems. So in addition, let us see some other I just want to discuss with this global warming effects on agriculture. So global warming, some other factors that we have to discuss in the ecosystem. So which changes on agriculture. The fundamental source of energy in almost all ecosystem is radiant energy from the sun, but the energy of sunlight is used by the ecosystem autotrophic or self-sustaining organisms. Consisting largely of green vegetation, these organisms are capable of photosynthesis, that is, they can use the energy of sunlight to convert the carbon dioxide and water into simple energy rich carbohydrates. So the autotrophs use the energy stored within these simple carbohydrates to produce the more complex organic compounds such as proteins, lipids, and starches that maintain the organism's life process. The autotrophic segment of the ecosystem is commonly referred to as the producer level. The natural environment provides essential inputs to agriculture, many of which are uncounted and unrecorded. The essence of plant agriculture is the capture of public environmental goods, sunlight, wind and rain, and their conversion. So daily organizes these services into the following categories. That is purification of air and water. So by doing these autotrophs and lot of things are made in the agricultural products or plants. Let us see some of the categories and which benefits by these autotrophs. So purification of air and water, mitigation of droughts and floods, generation and preservation of soils and renewal of their fertility, detoxification and decomposition of wastes, then pollination of crops and natural vegetation, dispersal of seeds, cycling and movement of nutrients. So ecosystem services used by agriculture. So pollination of crops and natural vegetation. About 1/3 by value of crops, fruits and vegetables produced in the world required pollination. Historically, wild populations of pollinators, that is bees, other insects, bats or bats, have carried out this function. Populations of many of these pollinators declined sharply to the point that replacement have been needed. The nutrient cycling. Natural ecosystem break down crop and animal waste and release the nutrients in these to restore the fertility of farmlands. They maintain soil fertility and also avoid the runoff waste into water bodies. Then pest control. Control of pests is one of the main problems facing farmers. A significant fraction of crops of the order of 1/4 to 1/2 may be lost to pests without extensive intervention by the farmer. Pests are just insects or animals that eat a crop designated for human consumption and are naturally attracted to huge concentration of their foodstuffs. Most pests have natural enemies that control their population in natural ecosystem. In agricultural systems, however, these predators may have been eliminated. So let us see an example. In this case, the predator of many insect pests may be insects that are eliminated by the very insecticides aimed to kill the pests. Yes, we have discussed the effect of ecosystems in the agriculture side also. Now we are discussing that thing. So with this I just conclude this ecosystem of in this climate change. Thank you.